I need a magical mystical Morris plushie now! Shang-Chi, the master of unarmed weaponry-based kung fu, is forced to confront his past after being drawn into the Ten Rings organization. Shang-Chi in the Legend of the Ten Rings is now the 25th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't believe I'm saying that. 25 movies. I remember when Iron Man came out. As far as the origin stories go and the standalone movies go, I gotta say this is probably near the top for me. This is directed by Destin Cretton, who also directed the fantastic movie Short Term 12. If you have not seen this gem, go check it out. Also starring Brie Larson from Captain Marvel and John Gallagher Jr. from Delaware. Shout out to my home state. It's the 25th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shang-Chi, and it stars Simu Liu, Tony Leung, Awkwafina, and Michelle Yeoh from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon fame way back in the day. Tony Leung and the entire cast really give great performances. You're not bored by any of them. They really sell the emotion, especially Tony Leung as the villain, Zhu Wenwu. He really sells the emotion. You buy everything he's saying, and he's honestly probably one of the better villains that Marvel has done, which has often been a weak spot for them in their movies, but he really has time to shine and flesh out his character pretty well. Another big pro is the fight choreography. It's fantastic. This is some of the best action in any of the Marvel films thus far, in all 25 of them. Less CGI focused, more practical focused, so you get a lot of awesome hand-to-hand choreography and martial arts. A lot of people love the fight choreography in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, especially that knife fight between Winter Soldier and Cap in the street. And this kind of harkens back to that a little bit, but elevates it because you have the martial arts factor in there, the kung fu. It's fantastic to watch. It really reminded me of classic Jackie Chan movies like Rumble in the Bronx, where you would just see the characters in these normal environments like a bus in this movie, or like an arcade in Rumble in the Bronx, and just watching the skill of the stuntmen and the martial artists just fly around this place. It's really dazzling. It really captures your attention, and it's just awesome to watch. It's really impressive. But it's not just all action. There is a great family drama dynamic in this film that Disney sells really well in a lot of their movies. And I will say one thing about this movie is that it's not like you haven't seen this before. This is pretty formulaic for a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie especially, but it does it extremely well. And so it's a bit of a refreshing palate cleanser really after Endgame, and then Spider-Man Far From Home and Black Widow. This is the best one they've done, I think, since Endgame. It's refreshing. It's like a clean slate, fresh start, a new character that is not as widely popular as, you know, some of their other characters like Spider-Man or Captain America now, or X-Men. But bringing in Shang-Chi, they do a really great job of making you care about the character quickly, getting you invested in the story, and really propelling those characters along the journey and taking you along for the ride. And it's never boring. The comedy as well. Sometimes it's hit or miss in Marvel movies with Disney, but it really hits here, especially Awkwafina and Benedict Wong as well. Awkwafina, if you haven't seen The Farewell, make sure you please go check out The Farewell. It's a great movie. And really the movie that proved to me that she can act and is just great on screen. So she's really in her element here with the comedy. As well as a certain secret someone from MCU past that shows up and has some hilarious lines in this. And it's just great to see that connective thread again through the MCU, where it's not so beholden to it that the entire movie is about connecting to other movies, but they really do it in a natural way here that kind of gets you excited again. Because honestly, after Endgame, it's felt like Phase 4 has been more interpersonal, specifically with the Disney Plus shows, more character building, which I'm all for, but this kind of ramps up the theatrical excitement again of like, oh man, I wonder where they'll pop up next. I'm excited to see more Shang-Chi. So it's a really refreshing take in the MCU, a great addition as well. Some of the negatives, I will say some obvious CGI in the background that doesn't blend quite as well. It stands out a little bit. They don't use CGI heavily. I would say, well, maybe in the third act, but they don't rely on it too much. It's more just to kind of flesh out the practical martial arts that are going on. For example, there is an awesome fight scene on a bus. And you can tell like there is some CGI green screen going on, but I'm not sure how they would have worked around it. It's more just to accentuate some of the fight scenes. And then there is a somewhat flimsy problem. So one of my big cons with movies is if there's a problem that can be resolved by talking, why is it not resolved by talking? Instead, it's fuel for action. And there's a little bit of that in this film early on that kind of nagged at me for a lot of the film. So I'll have to watch it again to see if it kind of mellows out for me a little more. But there is a little bit of a character issue that kind of just nagged at me. I felt like it was a weird decision, but overall, this movie is a really fun time. I highly recommend it. Definitely go check it out. Even if you're not a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's a lot to love here. If you're a fan of fight choreography, if you're a fan of family dramas, if you're a fan of martial arts especially, go check it out. I think you'll highly enjoy it. I'm going to give Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings 3.5 rings out of 5. I'm Brandon K, making your day. Make sure you check out my other reviews as well, please. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to stay tuned and see more. I hope you have a great day. Take care.